On that note, I'll say Mariposa, meaning thank you.
So, what is a dry port? A dry port is an evacuation of the seaport.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank CILT Rwanda for their tireless efforts on behalf of the Africa Forum.
Yes, thank you. My name is David Rejema. I'm the chairperson for Rwanda Freight Forwarders Association.
The aim of the African Continental Free Trade Area is to create a single market.
Je suis Philippe Ndikumana, le président de la Fédération des associations des agences en douane et transitaires de la communauté est-africaine, FIEFA, Federation of East African Freight Forwarders Association.
Really to ensure that as private operators who are involved in transport, logistics and infrastructure, you have a good understanding of the policy aspect.
Thank you very much, ma'am, and Mr. Secretary, I nearly left you out.
Thank you so much.
My name is Mugabo Patrick. I'm the CILT Rwanda president. We are very happy to host the African Forum 2023.
Thank you very much. One last question. Yes. So on behalf of RDB, it's a pleasure for me to be here and interacting on a very interesting topic, which is about logistics.
So the question that comes to me is to say that CILT
implementing CFTA will require us as government, as partners and captains of industry.
Dear viewers of Gisabo Television, we welcome you in the opening ceremony of CILTAfrica Forum 2023 happening in Rwanda Kigali Convention Center. The official opening ceremony of this CILTAfrica Forum 2023 has been done by Permanent Secretary of MINICOM, Niwenshuti Richard, who welcomed participants and also marked that private sector is playing a big role in logistics, transport and infrastructure, which have the great impact in the development of Rwanda. This forum includes the different sessions and discussions where concerned people from around the world, hosted by CILT Rwanda. Dear viewers of Gisabo Television, allow us to welcome you in this opening ceremony of CILTAfrica Forum 2023.
So it's an honor to be here today with you all as we officiate the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport Africa Forum 2023 under the theme, as we also earlier on, Logistics and Infrastructure Development as the Engine for Sustainable Implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. My name is Gavin Pisi, and it's an honor to be with you today and for the next couple of days as we convene here for the CILTAfrica Forum 2023. This week is an eventful one in Kigali. Many of you know that yesterday we started by convening under the Women in Logistics and Trade meeting, as well as meetings convening the youth under the next generation. As I said earlier on before, the CILTAfrica 2023 Forum consists of showcasing exhibitions, as you will see outside and later on during the rest of the program. We also, as you saw through the program, are going to have discussions bringing together seasoned professionals, captains of industry, government officials, journalists, and academia, not only from Rwanda and across the continent, to look at sustainable solutions when it comes to propelling this industry forward and building a really dynamic AFCFTA. It may sound ambitious, but at the very least, after these 3 days, including yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and even the site visits that we're going to have on Thursday, the path on how the transport and logistics sector can best implement sustainable solutions for the Africa Continental Free Trade Area should be clear. This is in light of disruptive crises such as the COVID-19 pandemic, which affected the movement of goods as well as services across global supply chains, specifically also affecting Africa. And that said, I would like to also welcome our brothers and sisters who are here with us from different parts of the continent, as well as globally. And if you'll allow me just very briefly to read out the names of the countries present with us this morning. And if the representatives from those countries can stand up and give them a warm welcome before we kick off the program. This shouldn't take too long. And I am told that we have with us here representatives of the CILTAfrica Forum 2023, representatives from Nigeria. Do we have Nigerians in the house? If they can stand up and let's give them a warm round of applause. Wow, that's almost half the room. Please be seated. We have with us representatives from Ghana. Is Ghana in the house? Let's give them a warm welcome. Fantastic. We have Zambia in the house. Representatives from Zambia, a warm welcome to you. We have representatives from Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, a warm welcome to you. We're hosting the Transform Africa Summit, so it's an honor to also have you with us here in Kigali. Do we have Uganda in the house? A warm welcome to Uganda. Do we have Tanzania? Tanzania? Do we have Kenya? Kenya with us? Kenya in the house? Okay, I will probably join us later on in the program. Do we have South Africa? South Africa? Namibia? Do we have Cameroon? Cameroon in the house? Do we have Cote d'Ivoire? Do we have Togo? Togo in the house? Okay. Do we have Poland? Do we have Sri Lanka? Yeah. Do we have the United Kingdom? Of course we do. Do we have Burundi in the house? Burundi? And of course, Rwanda? Very much. If I have missed any country, please, Mauritius, please, let's give them a warm welcome. Mauritius, Anissa? Kazakhstan? Wow. Any other country I may have missed? And without further ado, as we are running slightly late on the program, I'd like to call on Mr. Patrick Mugabo, FCILT, President of CILT Rwanda, to give welcome remarks. A warm welcome to you, Mr. Mugabo.
With key objective of bringing captains of industry and commerce, professionals, government officials, and academia with a key focus on issues that affect the industry, particularly in Africa. Of course, delegates are drawn from international borders and also Africa. And the objective is just to, have a discussion around pertinent issues that affects the logistics, transport, and industry. And it is our hope that as an institution, as we continue to gather, we will be able to strategically position ourselves and be recognized as one of the greatest institutions that is able to influence policy direction. Today is going to be a rewarding experience for each and every one. We've lined up various topics for discussions that are going to keep us busy for the whole of this conference. I don't want to waste much of your time, but I want to say, please enjoy.
That we aspire to be. In as much as I'll give my best, I'll equally expect a lot from my people from the continent. And I need your support to make me whoever you wanted me to be, that you've put me up there here. On that note, I'll say, Mariakosa, meaning thank you.
The speaker speeches are going quite quickly. I think people are also looking forward to the panel discussions we're going to be having later on. I would like to call also to share with us his remarks, Mr. Paul Sainthouse, FCILT, and President of CILT International Award.
And under your stewardship, we need to find them and bring them to our institute. They will thank you for doing so. CILT represents and does so much good in raising awareness of the benefits of our profession, not only in our workplaces, but in every part of society. So thank you to all the participants of the Africa Forum for everything you've achieved. I'm very proud of what you're delivering, and even more excited about undoubtedly what you have to come soon. CILT has never been more relevant, more purposeful, and more needed by society than it is now. And CILT in Africa is instrumental in delivering to this continent and its key logistics hubs. Having CILT represented throughout and offering services is absolutely vital. I'm proud to lead the Institute while communities around the globe look at the planners and providers of transport logistics to solve the very many social, economic and environmental challenges we all face in abundance. Our job now is to build on the excellent work of our predecessors and deliver an Institute the membership deserves. And that will be a solid platform for our ambitious plans for growth in the future. It is reassuring to see that during my presidency, CILTAfrica stakeholders have established an agenda to deliver robust growth and improve strength to the Institute locally, whilst continuing to provide reliable support and resources for its members, so that they are equipped to face the challenges ahead, be they digital, social, economic or environmental. I'm asking now to put in place a roadmap linked to a long-term strategy that will ensure that the future of CILT in Africa and that of those that participate is solid and secure. With this, I'm extremely excited about the opportunities for CILT in Africa, which presents maybe the greatest opportunity for delivering significant further growth. We are undoubtedly expected to extend our reach and see significant membership expansion, which I hope will result in further leaps forward in the capability of professionals across the continent. And of course, this will go far in supporting achieving the full potential of the African continental food area too. So today's forum is also about an opportunity for people to come together and recognise their achievements so far and the future potential of CILT in Africa. Exactly what CILT does globally every single day. This is now my final year as the Institute's President, and as some may know, I'm really just the warm-up for Chief TT, who's coming thick and fast. And my aim is to deliver a membership, a robust and secure organisation that can scale without fear and truly deliver world-leading educational and networking opportunities in a way that every member can be proud. I would like to take this opportunity to thank CILT Rwanda for their tireless efforts on behalf of the Africa Forum. I think we can all agree that they've done an outstanding job in delivering this event, as well as everyone who's had a part to play in the journey so far. May you all see continued success from this forum. I'm humbled and honoured to serve the members of CILT as the Institute's President. And I know throughout my time in office, we will do all that we can to ensure that we continue to achieve every increasing success and receive so well-deserved recognition for the fantastic work done here at the Africa Forum.
Thank you very much. Before I call on to the next speaker, I would like to recognize a few people who are in the room with us today. We have with us, all the way from Ghana, a member of parliament who is with us, Honorable Carlos Henko, Minister of the Parliament of Ghana, a member of the Parliament of Ghana. If you could please stand up and let's give him a warm welcome. Honorable Carlos Henko. It's an honor for you to be with us today. Like I said earlier on, we also have academia who are part of this very important conference. And that said, I'd like to call and to recognize the following people. If we could have representatives from Rwanda Polytechnic Kicukiro, IPRC, who are here today. They could stand up and let's give them a warm welcome. If we could also have the East Africa University Vice Chancellor, Professor Kabera, is he here? If we could give him a warm welcome. Thank you very much. We will keep on recognizing people as they come through. We also have with us, if we could recognize them, sorry, not to recognize, but these are names that I'll call up for the picture, for the photo opportunity that we're going to have later. But with that said, to give the keynote address, I would like us to warmly welcome Honorable Guest of Honor, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Mr. Richard Shuti. A warm welcome to you, sir.
And objective support. Implementing CFTA will require us, as government, as partners and captains of industry, to prioritize infrastructure development and realize what we want in that continental free trade area. As you all know, CFTA provides an opportunity to the wider market, tapping into a GDP combined of 3.4 trillion US dollars, which is a huge opportunity, but to realize it, it requires us to have a collaborative approach. Distinguished members joining us, captains of industry, discussing logistics and infrastructure development today in the line of CFTA implementation reassures that implementing that CFTA continental free trade area is of paramount importance to all of us. Rwanda has prioritized implementation of the World Trade Facilitation Agreement, and today we are at 95% on category C. In the last report by the World Bank, we were ranked number 5 on the continent on different procedures: the customs procedure, the service delivery of our service providers and logistics services, to mention but a few. This confirms the government commitment in realizing what we have committed in facilitating our trade and creating an enabling environment for trade to thrive. However, there still remains some impediment because the CFTA is not for a single nation, it's a collaboration between different countries. And this can only be realized if we have our logistics fully realized and implemented and developed. Once again, Rwanda has implemented different infrastructure development. A number of tarmac road and Maram road have been developed to link different infrastructure ports.
Thank you very much, Honorable Permanent Secretary, Mr. Richard Shuti. Before I announce the next logistical aspects of what's going to happen, I'd like again to take some time to recognize a few people here with us. These are key players in the transport and logistic industry, not only in Rwanda but also the region. On behalf of the Rwanda Freight Forwarders Association, we have with us Mr. David Rugema. If you could please stand up and we recognize him. On behalf of the Federation of East Africa Freight Forwarders Associations, we have with us with the chairman. If you could please stand up and recognize him. I think I did that earlier on, but please, once more, thank you very much. If you could have with us the Assistant Commissioner of Customs, Mr. Sam Karela. If you could have also standing up to be recognized the CEO of AGL, Mr. Africa Global Logistics, Mr. Roger Mbito. A warm welcome to you. If you could also have the CEO of Gorilla Logistics, an immediate past president, FIAFA, Mr. Fred Seka. A warm welcome to you. If you could have also to recognize the CEO of CILTAfrica United Kingdom, who's here with us. A warm welcome to you, Madam. I'm also told, traveling all the way from Tanzania, we have a Major General Kodi Hawa from Tanzania, who is a member of WILAT. Major General Kodi, a warm welcome to you. Thank you. So that said, we come to the first part of the end of the first part of the program, and I'd like to just call on a photo opportunity that's going to take place. But most importantly, if we could have to officiate the exhibition that's taking place outside. We have that is going to be done by our Permanent Secretary here with us on behalf of the Ministry of Trade and Industry outside. So let's give a round of applause to the official launch of the exhibition that's part of this conference. And that's said, there will also be a photo opportunity, and if you'll allow me to read the names of people who will be included in the photo op. We have with us, one second. Okay, I think sometimes technology gets the best of us. I'll just read these names from the phone. We have with us, if you could please have them first and foremost follow our guest of honor outside. Protocol is going to lead us to not only launch the exhibition, but thereafter for a photo opportunity. Mr. Paul Sinthouse, International President, CILTA International. Also, this is accompanying, of course, our guest of honor, the Permanent Secretary from the Ministry of Trade and Industry. If you could have also with us as part of the photo op, Mr. Chief Titi Obusu. If you could also have a part of the photo op, Dr. Denver Newton, Mr. Patrick Mugabo, Madam Gayansi Awasi, Global Chairperson. If you could have also with us the CILT UK CEO. If you could have with us the chairpersons of WAFA, IAFA, AGL, and Gorilla. I think they're all seated here, to accompany our guest of honor to officiate the opening of the exhibition and a photo opportunity.
So MSC took over the Global Platform, which it has a new brand under Africa Forum. We have different services. We are in for the custom clearance. We have housing. But we are mostly in solution-oriented, providing solutions to our clients. We customize our offers based to clients and help them with this challenge. We are in almost 54 countries. You can really take a look here. Like this is the and we are pleased to be with
Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, thank you. Very happy.
We are running the program, the 5-year program. So we are here largely, these are in summary what we normally do. We do the research in the transport chain, and then we have a lot of stakeholder engagements, including what we are even doing over here. We also have training and curriculum development, and then we also have a special session for our women, and then there's advantage groups so far as the supply chain is concerned. So largely that's what we do. Okay, this year we're going to have a very big global conference, the third one, which will be hosted by Ghana and Accra. But next year to be in Kenya. So you invite everyone to be part of that. So that is what we do. So welcome to Ghana. Thank you.
Yeah, we are Korea Logistics. We do move cargo from origin to final destination. We manage the whole chain process from both import and export, inland, sea freight, and by air. So we manage time to facilitate the ease of doing business and to minimize the cost so that we can have more volume. We are corporate, we work with corporate companies. We have been in this business for over 15 years. We are very glad to have said
we are said the partner, the CEO of the company. Pleased to have a seat in Rwanda as the member, first of all. And also, I'll be participating in more development in the logistics sector in the industry of Rwanda.
Yes, thank you. My name is David Rejema. I'm the chairperson for Rwanda Freight Forwarders Association, an association which brings together all players in the industry of logistics. We do deal with the movement of cargo, the clearance from the customs, and as you know, logistics is an engine to any economic growth and development. So such forums, when we have such forums, which brings together many countries, many continents, it's an opportunity for exchanging experiences, knowledge, and even develop new strategies to make sure the industry moves forward. So,
is there any improvement in our country?
I beg your pardon?
Is there any improvement in our country?
Oh yes. According to the logistics, there was a World Bank report that was produced in 2020, that was published in 2020. It showed that Rwanda increased from the position of 100 and above 100 to 60th in terms of performance. It's the logistics performance index. So it showed that Rwanda improved a great deal in terms of logistics. That means that be it Rwanda government, be it the private sector, have played a vital role in making sure that the industry grows and the industry performs better.
Is there some challenge that you face?
Oh, challenges are still there,
yes,
but of course, like the NTBs, the non-tariff barriers, which we deal with on a daily basis, like some of the infrastructure. As of now, our neighbors are building SGL, which has not reached here, which could enhance or even improve the service or the service in logistics.
So, as the chairperson, what is the purpose and the goal you want to achieve?
Like I told you, we are sharing knowledge and experience.
Yes.
We identify the bottlenecks as we share experiences with our colleagues from different economies, different countries. Different, different environments. We get to ways of how to solve the bottlenecks or to solve the problems that we face here in our own region.
Bonjour Monsieur Philippe, on aimerait savoir, vous pouvez un peu vous introduire votre position dans Celtic Institut de transport.
Je vous remercie. Je suis Philippe Ndikoumana, le président de la Fédération des associations des agences en douane et transitaires de la communauté est-africaine, FIEFA, Federation of East African Freight Forwarders Association.
Quelle valeur ajoutée vous apportez sur cette conférence? Quel est votre message que vous apportez dans cette conférence?
Le message que j'apporte ici dans ce forum, c'est un message assez important parce que, en tant que représentant de la logistique au niveau de la communauté est-africaine, nous sommes en train de voir comment essayer de faciliter davantage le commerce dans la sous-région, surtout à partir de la logistique, parce que les marchandises qui doivent être transportées et qui doivent être consommées dans la région doivent arriver à la population à un coût très moindre. Ça veut dire qu'on doit maîtriser les charges qui sont liées au coût et au délai. C'est ça l'importance de notre intervention, parce que ça, c'est une expérience que nous allons avoir à partir de ce forum, que nous allons essayer de partager avec tous les partenaires dans le sens de la maîtrise des coûts qui sont liés au délai de transport et au coût des marchandises.
Et quel est votre tout dernier message, quel est votre takeaway vous voulez donner aux jeunes étudiants, des jeunes qui sont dans le domaine de l'Institut, dans le domaine du transport? Quel est votre message? Quelle est votre pierre à l'édifice vous voulez apporter aux jeunes qui finissent dans le domaine du transport pour qu'ils sachent comment est-ce que demain ils seront demain le futur leader dans le domaine de la logistique.
La pierre à l'édifice que je pourrais apporter à la jeunesse qui est en train de s'intéresser à la logistique, c'est que quand même, aujourd'hui, le monde change rapidement. Il faut que quand même la jeunesse puisse suivre régulièrement les changements qui sont liés à la facilitation du commerce. Par exemple, aujourd'hui, nous sommes dans ce forum. Et sauf les enseignements que nous allons tirer de ce forum seront partagés à travers toute la sous-région pour essayer d'intéresser la jeunesse pour la facilitation du commerce. Aujourd'hui, c'est un forum qui donne ouverture aussi à un autre forum que nous allons organiser à Mombasa au mois de novembre dans le cadre de la gestion globale de la logistique au niveau de la communauté est-africaine. Aussi aujourd'hui, si je suis ici à Kigali, je suis aussi dans un travail qui est en train d'analyser quelles sont les facilités ou quels sont les problèmes qui sont liés au transport des marchandises dans le cadre du corridor central et du corridor nord. C'est ce qu'on appelle le TRS, Time Release Study. Ça veut dire qu'on doit évaluer le temps nécessaire à m'élever des marchandises pour que les marchandises doivent arriver très rapidement, sans délai et sans coût au niveau des populations de la sous-région. Donc, vous comprenez que nous, en tant que FEAFA, Federation of East African Freight Association, nous nous intéressons davantage à la maîtrise de la logistique dans la sous-région pour que toute la population, y compris la jeunesse, puisse y trouver un léger mieux à partir des enseignements et des informations que nous devons diffuser à partir de tout, dans toute la sous-région.
National Institute for Transport CILT training provider, Deputy Director Dr. Zainabu Mushana from Tanzania. If she's here, a warm welcome to you. I would like us to also recognize, I think we did this, but I've just been informed, Mr. Roger Mbito, COAGL Rwanda and Burundi. Thank you very much. Yes, so that said, we are going to quickly go to the second part of the program, and it consists of a presentation. I will ask the presenter to come forward. Not now, sorry, I'm just giving a couple of instructions. After the presentation, the first presenter will head to their seats. Thereafter, I will call on a speaker before the panel, who is also here in the room. After their presentation, they'll go back to their seats, and then I will call on the first panel, introducing all the speakers as well as the panelists to come to the panel, as you see here. I hope that's clear. And I just want to confirm with the technical team, is the clicker finally working? Technical team? Because I want to call on the first presenter to have the clicker so they can have a good presentation. So that said, I would like to call to give us the first presentation on optimizing intra-African trade, intra-African transport for AFCFTA, Ms. Mfuon Ekong Soro, FCILT and CILT President of Nigeria. A warm welcome to you, Madam.
They always keep this so high and forget that some of us are quite short, and especially when we are not wearing high heels. Our hosts, and it looks like the VIPs that I had in mind to mention are not here. But I recognize all the presidents of the various chapters, branches of CILT. I recognize all our Willards women and ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for showing up for the learning segments of our conference. The theme of the conference speaks for itself: logistics and infrastructure development, as the driver for AFCFTA. And then there used to be this saying, where will international trade be without shipping? Which was when the major and perhaps the only means of transportation of goods between countries was by sea. But now the saying is, where will international trade be without logistics and transport? So we are now going to talk about issues that we are familiar with, but it is very important because we have not arrived at where we want to be, that we keep highlighting and reminding ourselves of things that need to be done. So without going too much into detail about AFCFTA, because I believe that we are aware of it, in brief, the purpose of AFCFTA is regional integration, something that has been lacking in Africa based on our history. The next purpose is to boost international trade and also to harmonize rules between all the regions that we have in Africa, like ECOWAS, like CEMAC, like SADC region, to harmonize the rules so that it will be able to oil that continental free trade area that we are all interested in. The aim of the African Continental Free Trade Area is to create a single market. Countries that are engaged in intra-African trade, and the volumes are there by each of the countries. And then when we're talking about a region, South Africa tops the list, followed by West Africa, and North Africa, East Africa, and Central Africa. Each of us individually trade with non-African countries than we trade with each other. That also shows in the statistics. So when we talk about intra-African transportation, optimizing it, we know that we have different modes of transportation. Africa is a continent that is surrounded by seas. So one of the modes of transportation in the freight market in Africa will be shipping. And of course we have the land transport, which is rail, and road, and then we have the air. A little bit of statistics in our participation in the shipping freight transports. For the entire world, the trade volume is about 11 billion metric tons. And the world freight, in terms of the carrying capacity, is 2.2 billion deadweights. Now, Africa's seaborne trade, out of that 3 billion, approximately 3 billion USD, out of that 1,315 billion metric tons are done by sea. And that comprises of exports and imports. What is our share of the global fleet? Nothing to write home about. Yes, I have noted that you will see in red about Liberia. Liberia has 335 million DWT and is the country in Africa, the only country in Africa that is among the top 3 countries in the world in terms of registration of ships, flag registration. But take note, not ownership. Flag registration, yes, but not ownership. What that tells us is that the beneficial owners of the seaborne trade going in or out of Africa are not Africans. And if you want to go by the statistics that we have from, I think, Afrixim, it is less than, we own, beneficial ownership, we own less than 1% of global fleets.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for me to be able to speak to you today, all protocols observed. I think for me it's always convenient to speak after such a brilliant presentation. And I think she really deserves a brilliant When I was asked to speak, it was a bit difficult to know where do I start. And so knowing and seeing that there's already so much content and substance and understanding of the AFCFTA from the private sector, makes my job a lot easier. So I'll be able to run through a lot of what I've prepared to intervene on. And that was specifically on what is the role of trade facilitation within the context of the AFCFTA, and really to ensure that as private operators who are involved in transport, logistics, and infrastructure, you have a good understanding of the policy aspect of trade facilitation in the AFCFTA. I won't get into too much of the details of the agreement itself, because I think that has been so eloquently prepared already. But I want to complement a lot of what has been already presented by the previous speaker. As government, our role is to facilitate trade and investment in policy in general, or through policy in general. And so we do this from a trade facilitation perspective through 4 pillars or 4 concepts, components. Those being simplification, transparency, harmonization, and standardization. Those are 4 important pillars for us as policymakers.
And thank you very much for the opportunity. I would just go straight into the panel introduction. Would first of all want to invite Dr. Newton Demba, our IVP for Africa and Chair of the Africa Forum, to join us on stage. Please, let's do it better for him. Let's appreciate it. Take the seconds, Chair. Mr. Roger Nkobito, please join us. He is the Managing Director of the Africa Global Logistics for Rwanda and Burundi. Please, let's do it until he sees. Okay, excuse me, can you please move to the next seat? Okay, let's go on. Mr. Eugene Manzi, the Cargo Sales Manager for Rwanda, please join us. Please use this chair, please. Would like to invite Madam, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, please. Would like to invite Madam Angeline Simana. She's the Director of Air Transport at the Africa Civil Aviation Commission. Please, let's appreciate her as she comes forward. So we'll have her take the third seat, and then I will join them at the other side. But, yes, there please. There. So, good afternoon once again, and thank you very much for joining us for this session. For starters, we would want to introduce ourselves, so I would do the initial, and then you would also introduce yourselves individually. So my name is Manaba Bujanji. I am the Regional Chairperson for Africa, that's for Next Generation, and I also double as the Executive Secretary for CILT Ghana. So would like to invite each of you to introduce yourself briefly so that we could get to know who you are, where you're coming from, and then what you do. So we'll start with you, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm Julie Manzi. I'm Manager Cargo Global Sales in Rwanda Air. Thank you.
Thank you. Just hold on, please. We left out one, the panelist, Mr. Fred Seka. Kindly join us. Apologies. He's the CEO of Gorilla Logistics and Chairman of the Federation of East African Freight Forwarder Associations. So I'll give you the seat. Okay, thank you very much, and apologies for leaving you out momentarily. So Dr. Demba, over to you.
So thank you so much. My name is Newton Demba, IVP and Chairman of Africa Forum. I'm resident in Lisbon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Roger Nkobito. I'm the Managing Director for the AGL, Africa Global Logistics, which is formerly known as Border Logistics, until it was taken over by MSC Shipping. And I've been in this industry for 20 years. I'm running Rwanda and Burundi organization for AG.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm happy to be here. My name is Angel Masimano. I am the Director of Air Transport. I work for the Specialized Agency of the EU, responsible for the implementation of the Single African Air Transport Market. But we are also a specialized agency when it comes to aviation matters. So all states in Africa are members, and we assist them to comply with global standards in terms of standard and regulatory practices, and we also work with them to ensure that we build our own inter-African air transport network. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And Mr. Secretary, I nearly left you out.
Thank you so much. I'm Seka Fred, my name. I'm the CEO of the Logistics Group, and immediate past president of the Federation of East Africa Freight Forwarders, as well as the former chairman of Rwanda Freight Forwarders Association and board member of Rwanda Brexit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, let's appreciate them all. To kickstart out, first of all, I want to thank Madam President for a very insightful and detailed presentation. I think it just sets the pace and gives us a basis to be able to start our discussion. Transport services, where we fall in. Under transport services, we have maritime transport, inland waterways, air transport, space transport, rail transport, road transport, pipeline, services auxiliary to all modes of transport and other transport services. So today we have our panelists who are going to delve further into the main topic. And so I'll give each of you about 3 minutes to do an introductory remark. And then after that, due to time constraints, I'll give you a question as well from the set of questions I have put together for you. And then finally, we'll take some questions from plenary. I'll take about 3 questions in 10 minutes before we come back to the panelists to give us a summary or a roundup of the discussions we're going. I hope you're all okay with that. Yes, so for starters, we'd like to invite, who would like to go first? Let me just throw it to you. Oh, everybody's ready. Okay, so Mr. Roger Mukubito, your opening remarks, please. Thank you.
Thank you, moderator. It's been interesting to follow the discussion that have been going on regarding the impact of the logistics on this FCFTA, and as the DG of MINICOM has set up a challenging task and question. Okay, the policies are there, but now how to implement? My opinion on this is that I think this logistics industry should and is becoming a solutions industry. So we used to be a service. Logistics used to be a service. But during the COVID period, we have realized that the demands and expectations go beyond what a standard service can deliver and provide. What does it mean? When borders close, when everything is disrupted, when you have lack of capacity, lack of equipment, when the freight rates go to the sky, and when the trade across the globe is actually put down, you realize you are no longer required to deliver service because there is no service. But you have a key role to play as a logistics professional. But the role you are going to play is a solution provider. And for me, this has been a game changer. Now, with this African common market coming, I think more than ever, we need to think as solution providers. What does it mean? When you look at what we call trade, okay? So the government will put infrastructure. Rwanda started with a new airport that is within a 2 billion infrastructure. Rwanda is increasing their fleet with their partnership with Qatar. I understand there has been one freighter that instance, capacity 4 times to Dubai, 4 times only to Dubai. Qatar is bringing a new freighter to Kigali in the first week of May with an additional capacity, and within this year we'll have, let's say, 100-ton capacity, lifting capacity from Rwanda, let's say every day. Okay? But how do you keep these planes in the air? How do you keep them in the air? We have to first understand the market that releasing planes. What is the market? And where is the market? You cannot have one player, one exporter in Africa, and especially in these countries, Rwanda and neighboring countries, who can fill a freighter, a 100-ton cargo in planes every day. It's impossible. That means you need to have aggregation platforms. The way European countries have been doing in countries and other places, we need consolidation platforms. Someone having a 5-ton from Burundi with avocados, bringing to the platform to consolidate, to prioritize, to document, to make it appropriate to be airshipped. And someone from DRC having cotton, someone from Rwanda, from Uganda having fresh beans or whatever. Those different commodities have to go in one plane. And sometimes you can't consolidate them the way you want. You have to document, you have to ensure the documentation, the process from the origin country and at the destination countries as it's planned. Okay?
So, thank you very much. It's time constraints, so I'll come back to you to finish up the aspect of capacity, because capacity is one of the key challenges that we have here in Africa when it comes to us being able to move our products. You could have capacity today, you could have the products today, 2 days later you don't have any more products to move, yet there's capacity. So when One Air, for instance, is having a partnership with Qatar Airways, you're expecting to be able to fill and utilize the capacity, if I'm not mistaken. What will be your introductory remarks to the topic?
Okay, thank you so much. What I can say about logistics business, of course it is challenging, but it's also a good business that everyone can intervene and of course win. We can take an example recent. We have had COVID. COVID was a bit challenging, but cargo business and logistics business, we have been continuing. Our work was normal. There was no much challenge. Therefore, what I can say as a business person, as a logistics players, we need to work together and there will be no any challenges as long as we work as a team, and of course we have airline business that is here to support logistics business. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You talk about working together, and fortunately for us in CILT, that's what we go by. So we're stronger together. So we'll allow Dr. Denver to give us his...
Thank you so much. This initiative, which is one of the biggest initiatives in the continent, sometimes becomes so worrisome whether you look at what we intend to achieve and whether it's quite possible.
Assistant to the training providers. I don't know why CIT is not assisting in the test of library, e-library, and physical library to training providers. I know we have the providers here who are putting their contributions to CIT training for many years. They are not present to see. I answer that question why anyone assisting us in the education. Assistance test of library, e-library, and other facilities. Thank you.
Could you please repeat your question? Please be precise, to the point.
that the training providers around the globe of Africa, next to Nigeria, Africa, continent and so on, and the training providers. I am asking, why is CIT body not giving assistance in terms of library facilities like e-library and others? I know we pay money for the students. Send those textbooks, test of curriculum development, and that can be done on e-library. Why is CIT not assisting with the providers to help the new generation coming?
Thank you. Yes. Thanks for that. My apologies for not hearing it clearly. We do have both a physical library and an element of an e-library that we've got set up in the UK, and we do give access to that to other national organisations. So I believe Canada has access to it, and at the moment Ireland is talking to me about it. So if you get in touch afterwards, I can certainly talk to you about getting access to it. Thank you, Madam Chair. 2 more questions from the audience, then we'll be closed. Yes.
Thank you. I am usually retired Sanawa. My question is to the Vice Chancellor. I want to commend you for introducing logistics curriculum to students. However, I would like to know whether in your curriculum you have included real-time visitation to factories, ports, industries, or industrial attachments to those students. Because theory is different from actual obtaining in the field. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Normally, I didn't talk about that because it's mandatory to have industry visits or industry attachment to companies in the sectors or associated with the sectors. Let's talk about the logistics, which is here. So this is part of the curriculum as a mandatory program description. So, but we also have other initiatives which we piloted in other fields, whereby students are attached to companies in a prolonged attachment. So it can be over 1 year. Here, the student is sort of under the sponsorship of that company, whereby the student works on different solutions for the company, but with both methods from the industry and the training institution of our institution. So this helps the students to develop those skills that we are mentioning, and also the professionalism that we want from the students, and also entrepreneurial spirit, because they're working on solutions and the companies present a challenge which is really work on. So this is a different program from the normal internship or industry attachment. But also we, in collaboration with the companies, number of companies, we also make sure that after every graduation there are professional interns that they take, and from there they can be retained. So there are some graduates who are retained from that professional internship. So these are some of the things that we make sure that the students are continually exposed, or graduates, fresh graduates are continually exposed to what's happening in the industry. Thank you very much. One last question. Yes.
Thank you so much. Patrick from Uganda. I'm the CEO. Mine is on the...
Please be loud.
My question is, when you are promoting capacity building, especially when you are addressing issues of emancipation, issues of gender equity, issues of preference schemes for women in logistics, how do you do it in such a way that you are not being accused of sidelining the boy child, because largely it is all about women.
Okay, very good question. I think I'll answer that. In fact, as I mentioned to you, our programs were not only gender-based, right? I mean, what we do is we compare CILT. This was done in conjunction with CILT as well, because one of our capacity building center is part of the international education subcommittee. So therefore, we understand what we do and there are gaps, how we do that. And also there are men who are attending our programs. So we talk about sustainability, decarbonization, digitalization. None of these are gender-based skills and competencies that you need to develop. So those are all, skills, technological skills that you will all have to learn in logistics. But there are specific soft skills that we, programs are conducted where we understand the gaps that women have. And those programs, if men also want to come, we welcome them because we work in an ecosystem where you have men and women both. So unless the men bosses don't understand women's psyche, it's very difficult for you to work in an organization because we want the organization to be a gender diverse and inclusive organization. So therefore, we don't specifically do only for women. That's the answer to your question. There are specific programs that we do. We also welcome men for that, so that they understand and have an appreciation about the skills that our women require. Yeah.
Thank you very much. As a reminder, I take this opportunity to thank our key speaker, Mr. Engineer Pascal Katabasi. Thank you very much. I would also want to sincerely thank our panelists for sharing your valuable insights on promoting professionalism and capacity building in the logistics and transport industry. We have learned a lot from you, from your experience, and with the topics such as the role of public-private sector partnership, the importance of upskilling and reskilling, the contribution of learning institutions, and the role of women in enhancing professionalism in the industry. So a round of applause to our panelists. Thank you very much.
You are tired? No. So on behalf of RDB, it's a pleasure for me to be here and interacting with this big audience, specifically on a very interesting topic, which is about logistics. So as you know, and as you have heard from different speakers, logistics plays a critical role in economic development for any country. And this is the same for Rwanda as well. That is the reason why government of Rwanda has invested a lot in terms of improving the business environment to make sure that we are facilitating businesses, and especially in the logistics sector. Some of the reforms we have introduced include the registration of businesses. So which means in Rwanda, you can register your business, and in only 6 hours, you have your certificate of registration, and you can immediately start the business. So which means you can even do it online. You don't have to come to RDB for it. You can do it online while you are in your rooms. So please don't leave the country without opening up a company. So to attract investors as well as businesses, we have really made easier the whole process of doing business in the country. There are record numbers of incentives we are providing, including tax holidays, including other non-fiscal incentives, such as key account managers. For instance, if you're starting your business, there will be someone from RDB who will be in charge of your project, who will be working very closely in the implementation of your project and making sure that the project is becoming a successful one. So Rwanda invested a lot in terms of infrastructure, logistics-related infrastructures such as roads, airports. We expanded our current Kigali International Airport, and there is also another very big project under development. Very soon we will have another airport in the Bugesera district. However, to make sure that our investors really are facilitated in the best way possible, the government has also developed special economic zones to make sure that our investors, they have serviced land, they have electricity, water, internet, and everything. So far in the country, we have two special economic zones, one in Bugesera and another one in Kigali. And on top of that, we have other 8 industrial parks. So if you are an investor present here, either in logistics or any other business, so you can easily start your business in one of our special economic zones. As a proof that in Rwanda it's easy to do business, we have attracted quite numbers of investors who are now operating in the country. To name a few of them, those who are in logistics, we have the Kigali Logistics Platform, we have Borore, we have Majera, among many other logistics companies operating in the country. In addition, the government has also invested in the national airlines, the Rwandair. I hope all of you fly with Rwandair. Yes. So we are now connected to quite numbers of cities in Africa, in Europe, and even in Asia. And all of those efforts and investments were made to make sure that we are facilitating our investors, we are growing our economy, we are integrating the global value chains by making easier the transport of goods and services. Because of our geographic location, we are trying to position ourselves as the regional logistic hub. What does it mean? So we have access to over 80 million of the population across the border, which make it easier to serve those people through Rwanda. So that's why you will realize that most of our exports, most of our trades are cross-border trade. Because of the geographic location of the country, we are easily able to connect to the regional market. So all those projects, or as well as efforts we have put in place, contributed a lot to the economic development of the country by increasing trade between Rwanda and other African countries and even beyond, by increasing exports as well as creating jobs. It also contributed to the reduction of costs of transport as well as the transactions. It also improved the supply chain management because it makes it easier to move products either within the country or cross-border markets. So logistics is a key tool in the IFCFTA. Without very strong logistics networks, we will really not be able to create our African market, the one all of us wish. But together, as African countries, governments, private sector, civil society, as well as NGOs, we can do a lot in terms of developing our logistics infrastructures and make sure that the IFCFTA is becoming reality in Africa. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Diane, for giving that snapshot of this industry in Rwanda and bringing the investments Rwanda is making, continues to make to propel forward the transport and logistics industry. The next session, again, if you could keep it as short as the previous session was, I would like to call on the moderator for this session, And the moderator for this session, I think he's been quite vocal in the audience, Mr. Emmanuel Butera, who is the Consumer Protection Specialist at the African Civil Aviation Commission. Mr. Butera, yes, a warm welcome to you. And I trust you will keep it enough time for the panelists, but also enough time for the participants. Thank you.
Among the panel. Normally in North Africa, we say it is first, but many before. So allow me to invite Karim Dure, the chair of Cote d'Ivoire, to proceed to the podium. Karim, are you here? I don't see her coming. Okay, for the sake of time, may I have Mr. David Mijema, the chairperson of the Rwanda Freight Forwarders Association, to join us in the panel. We will be followed by Mr. Sam Kavera, the Assistant Commissioner of Customs, Rwanda Revenue Authority. Get close to me. Oh, it is. Take that one. Okay. Can I hear from the delegation from Cote d'Ivoire? Karim is not available. Come again?
I'm going to look for her.
Okay. Meanwhile, let us start. Technical team, please remove those slides. They are making people obstructed. Yes, gentlemen, we are here to discuss a very important topic they gave us today. This forum gave us today. It is logistics as an engine to socio-economic development in the implementation of CFTA, the Single African, the African Continental Free Trade Area. I will allow you a few seconds to briefly introduce yourselves to the audience, who you are, what you do, and how we come in to complement the FCFTA. Starting with you, David.
Thank you, moderator. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Rejema. I am the chairperson for Rwanda Freight Forwarders Association. I also own a company called Dalso Logistics. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sam Kabera. I'm Assistant Commissioner in charge of Customs Operations, Rwanda Revenue Service.
Thank you. As we wait for the lady to come, normally I feel uncomfortable to moderate a panel that is embarrassed. Please make sure the organizer that the lady is here, otherwise we might not give you what it takes to complement our discussions. Going to the matter, David, you head the Rwandan Freight Forwarders Association. Please share with us some experience. How is the Rwandan Freight Forwarders, and by extension consolidators, transporters, how are they organized? How are they moving on from the previous and going to the future as regarding the CFTA?
Yeah, thank you very much. Rwanda Freight Forwarders Association has come a long way as far as professionalism is concerned.
In the first place, there existed no such an organization before, but the situation just presented itself that we, the players in that particular industry, were needed. All our services were needed by the business community. Like the thing here itself, the topic of discussion mentions it, logistics as the engine of economic growth and development. Yes, there can be no growth or development, there can be no business done without logistics, whether before production or after production. Goods always need that component of the process to reach the market. So we, as the Rwandan Freight Forwarders Association, have presented ourselves as a key service to the business community, and we have grown from traditional. We have grown from traditional to now professional. We are now an organized, a well-organized community, business community. We have our national association, which is also required by the law. Before you get licensed by the customs, who is our regulator, you must be having a recommendation from the association. The association also makes sure that it keeps its members abreast with the trends, the changes in the logistics industry, because it's one sector that changes from time to time. New trends arise, and we have to keep ourselves abreast with the changing trends. So in short, the logistics industry here in Rwanda is doing very well in terms of organization, like you had asked me. Even by extension, the transporters are now organized, the drivers are organized. You can always do it easily to reach out to either the transporters or the drivers, just in case there is some key or important information you want to pass on to those different players in the logistics chain. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard the Rwandan experience, how the freight forwarders are organized, how they are assessed, how they are regulated, and how they are operating in the system. From the traditional ways of doing business into the regulated doing business and skilled doing business. Sam, I want you to share with us the experience of the customs or Rwanda Revenue Authority in general, as a government agency, how you implement in the logistics industry all the niceties the lady from the development agency said that are there for the people to do business. Israel, how you operationalize these one-stop border posts, the bonded warehouses, and how you regulate the practitioners. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First of all, let me first share with you the mandate of customs services. The core mandate of customs service is revenue collection and trade facilitation. When you talk of revenue collection, that means you are talking trade, you are talking business, and you cannot do business, you cannot collect revenue without logistics and transport. If you look at it very well, logistics and transport is the backbone of doing business, is the backbone of trade, is the backbone of revenue collection. Therefore, within that context, customs has put place some initiatives to facilitate logistics and transport industry so that we can be able to achieve our core mandate. Among of the initiatives that we have in place to facilitate logistics and the transporting as an industry, one, we implemented what we call Rwanda Electronic Single Window, where all the business sector, the traders, the shareholders, they find themselves that they can lodge their entries and information within that single point, so that they can be easily to do the business without having any delays and wasting time. Within the single window system, we also integrated with our regional systems, where our system have been integrated with our regional partners like Kenya and Tanzania, whereby if any declaration that have been done within through the single window system, as far as import and export is concerned, it eases the business without wasting time and unnecessary cost. In doing that, we also implemented what we call single customs territory, whereby you know that Rwanda, we are member of the East African Community. Within that integration, we managed to implement what we call single customs territory, where the goods are cleared at the first port of entry. Within that, it has facilitated the business sector, the logistics, most especially those in the transport sector, whereby before implementing this single customs territory, they were having some NTBs during at the ports of entry, and after implementing this, everything, all the NTBs that the transport sector, the business people were facing, has been eliminated. One, before that, there was no truck, no Rwandan truck or other countries from the region that were entering at the port. But after implementing the customs union, specifically single customs territory, we had an opportunity to have our transporters to go and lodge their containers at the port of entry. Secondly, we also have been doing some multiple declarations. Before they were having more than 3 declarations, but after implementing the ACT, we managed now to have a single declaration where you can do one declaration from the first port of entry to the destination. Another point that we have done, we have implemented as customs is a one-stop border post. When we talk of one-stop border post, this is where most of the customs and other border agencies, they work together and everything are done within one area, So this one also has eliminated the barrier of time consuming. Most of the transporters, the drivers were wasting a lot of time going up and there, but everything is done in one area. So with that, I can assure members who are here that after implementing OSBP, the business sector, the traders, transporters, all those NTBs have been eliminated.
We talk about regulation. You know, there's regulation regarding the maximum weight, you know, what we call GVM, gross vehicle mass on the road. There's a regulation that must be looked at. You consider some corridors are more manageable than others. When you talk about corridors, you talk about dry port. Okay? So what is a dry port? A dry port is an evacuation of the seaport to be able to absorb the capacity and to release the port to handle the additional cargo. So ports that do not have decent and adequate dry port and CFSs will face challenges. So corridors are very important, and other things are, you know, we have alternative ports in many countries, and sometimes we forget to use these alternative ports. We look at countries like Zambia, DRC, Burundi, so we have ports on the Lake Tanganyika. So this lake is now, let's say, very much underused, but it's a huge corridor. You look at the mines in Eastern DRC, we did it here on the Kalemi and down to the Lubumbashi area. You know, we're talking about mines that are going to generate 1 million tons in a few years. But what infrastructure do we have from that area to be able to evacuate that cargo? We don't have any ports. We have ports in Kalemi, we have ports in Bujumbura, we have ports in Kigali on the lake, but these ports are inadequate. Okay? Now, we have a lot of opportunities of cement factories that are setting up in Rwanda, in DRC, in Tanzania, and they have to move clinker, you know, to be able to manufacture. How do they move? So we focus on seaports, but we forget lake ports, which are very important. I might be able to move the commodities from Zambia into Rwanda, passing through Burundi, or passing through Uvira port, straight to Rwanda, without having to do the whole road from Zambia into Tanzania and into Rwanda. Why?
Thank you very much.
Kindly be precise and concise.
My question, Eston Sakala from Zambia, Treasurer. My question goes to Dr. Nadu in relation to green technology. First and foremost, I'd like to just recognize the work that you've done in the logistics sector in Africa, Doctor. So my question is in relation to the development and utilization of EVs, electric vehicles. What is your comment on the opportunity for Africa and the threat for Africa, especially CFTA, especially those African countries that are largely into oil production? Thank you.
Thank you. Very, very briefly, let's have diversity, gender, please.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much, moderator, for giving me this opportunity. I think I'm going to be very brief, but I just want to share with everyone my observation of the day today, which is a very prestigious conference, first to attend. But my observations are as follows: that we had 3 panel sessions today. The first panel, one note that. The second panel session, 1 minute. The last panel session, men only. So the question that comes to me is to say that CILT, are we saying that our women are really not capable to participate as much as men participate? That's my observation, and I'm raising it in this forum. Second one now is a question that is saying, actually I forgot to take the names, but the part of the corridors is very interesting to me, and I forgot to do my introduction. My name is Mikonis and Masabesa. I'm from South Africa. And now on this part, I just want to say that you spoke about the challenges of the corridors and the integration. And the ports exist specific reference to dry ports. But I'm asking myself, who holds the key to unlock the proper logistic systems that we have in Africa? Thank you.
Thank you. 1 minute each, or briefly less than a minute. I'll start with you, General, and the issue of defense logistics, and then logistics and defense raised by the first team.
Okay, thank you. That's a question from my colleague, Major General Adeka. Humanitarian logistics, peacekeeping logistics in whatever form, it's all the same. Now, we are here, year in, year out. We come from these conferences because we all understand the challenges of logistics. Now, he mentioned Pacific architects and engineers. There were a firm, a US firm, that operated with ECOMOG to support us and provide logistics. It was a very simple strategy that the Americans. We support ECOMOG with $100 million. No African country ever sees the money. The money goes to Pacific architects and engineers, and they bring us whatever logistics they deem that we need. And because we have given up our rights to determine our future, who accepts? So now, with the coming of ECOMOG, what General Bacha did was set up ECOMOG, set up funds by Africans, and see how we can generate forces from Africa and ensure that there is peace. And so, when we started this in ECOMOG, we now decided that, okay, what we are going to do is our own contractors bring logistics for two contributing countries. But I do not think, with all due apologies, that we have been able to perfectly craft a method where our logistics will be seamless in all parts of Africa. Yesterday, myself and my colleagues were discussing, why will I, as a Nigerian, as a member of ECOWAS, have to have visa to go to South Africa? If I see the lady later, I will tell her Sabona. That is good morning or good evening in my language. Why will, so if I need visa to go to South Africa as an African, how are we going to integrate logistics so that when we need to move products from one place to the other within the African continent, it's easy. So the problems we are having in distribution of logistics in peacetime only becomes complicated by the issues of security in peacekeeping. So until that problem is resolved, then we can begin to approach the problems and challenges.
My name is Mugabo Patrick. I'm the CILT Rwanda president. We are very happy to host the African Forum 2023. We are here to work together as African countries and different institutions to look together to the current challenges in implementation of EFT, FTCA, and the role of logistics and infrastructure to actually improve the implementation of this initiative. So we are also happy to host the forum because we will be given the opportunity to be accredited as a CILT member, and to be able actually to start providing CILT trainings to our people here in Rwanda.
So as the president of CILT, is there any improvement to work with these different countries?
Yes, definitely. So the idea behind it is that for the initiative to be possible and be implemented, we need to work together for the African trade continental market, so that we all come together and understand the reason why we should work together, and why we should actually implement all these strategies that we agree on. We implement them together so that we move together. Otherwise, one country cannot succeed on this alone.
One panel that's been rolled over into tomorrow. So instead of having one panel discussion, we'll have two. So let's kick off at 8. Last housekeeping rules are that there's going to be site visits on Thursday. So please register at the foyer. And tomorrow is a fully packed day, so get some rest. As I think all of you have the program, we have panel discussion, closed meetings, and a gala dinner as well. So let's all meet at 8 tomorrow and have a good evening. See you again tomorrow morning. Thank you.